Fast, focused, and fearless. Here are the latest stories at this hour. I'm Diego Castro. The Office of the Ombudsman has filed a plunder case against Senator Rodante Marcoleta before the Sandigan Bayan. The case involves alleged undeclared campaign donations totaling 75 million pesos. The Ombudsman said the amount exceeds the 50 million peso threshold required for plunder, a non-tailable offense. Also charged are former lawmaker Mike Defensor and businessmen Joseph Varias Espiritu and Aristotel Baluyot Viray, who were identified as the donors. Marcoleta has since denied the allegations, saying the funds were not public money and were received before the official campaign period. The new plunder case has been raffled off to the Sandigan Bayan 3rd Division. Various divisions of the Anti-Graft Court will handle the other complaint over violation of Presidential Decree Number 46, which prohibits public officials from receiving gifts from private persons on any occasion. We also give you a quick look at stories from our media partners. On the Philippine Star, the Ombudsman plans to use testimonies from 8 of 18 former bodyguards of Zaldico to build possible cases against the fugitive ex-congressman and late Representative Martin Romualdez. This is still over the flood control scandal. The Ombudsman says the bodyguards' accounts of alleged cash deliveries involving Co and Romualdez were consistent. The former speaker's lawyers called the allegations politically motivated while arguing there is no evidence directly linking Romualdez to infrastructure anomalies. On Business World, national government debt rose to 18.5 trillion pesos in May 2026. Now, this is mainly due to increased domestic borrowing to fund government financing needs. Domestic debt made up about 67% of total debt. External debt edged down slightly as the stronger peso reduced the value of foreign currency obligations. Analysts expect debt to keep rising as the government finances its budget with greater attention focused on the debt to GDP ratio rather than the debt amount. For more details of these stories, you can visit the social media pages of the Philippine Star and Business World. Do check out as well the social media platforms of One News PH for the very latest headlines. In Vancouver, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney have elevated Philippine-Canada relations to a strategic partnership. During a bilateral meeting, the two leaders pledged to strengthen cooperation in trade, defense, energy, labor, and tourism. Marcos also thanked Canada for its support of a rules-based order in the West Philippine Sea and for its maritime security assistance. For his part, Carney said talks are underway for a free trade agreement between Canada and the ASEAN. The two countries also signed 4 agreements covering energy, labor, tourism, and cultural cooperation.
We will tighten the relations between our populations, relationships that have united our two countries for a long time, because the relations between Canada and Philippines don't only depend on trade, but also on the people who live there.
So together, we're building a future where peace is sustained through cooperation, where prosperity is shared, and where opportunity is open to all. A future built through partnership.
Today, I am pleased to announce the elevation of our bilateral relationship to a strategic partnership. We have tasked our foreign ministers to draw up a plan of action to pursue our shared commitment to work together in adapting to shifting global realities, addressing shared challenges, and building capacities for future-ready partnership.
On the sidelines, President Marcos and PM Carney made a surprise stop at a popular Pinoy fast food chain in downtown Vancouver. The two leaders visited Jollibee's Granville Street branch to interact with staff and members of the Phil-Canadian community. Prime Minister joked that they were heading to the fast food place for real sustenance after missing lunch during their working session. The impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte will officially begin on Monday, July 6. On opening day, the clerk of court will read the pretrial order outlining the rules, timeline, and procedures for the presentation of evidence. Both the House Prosecution Panel and the Vice President's defense team will also formally enter their appearances. The trial is scheduled to run for 92 days, with the bulk of the proceedings focused on the alleged misuse of confidential funds. Hearings will be held Mondays to Wednesdays from July 6 to 22, then every Tuesday to Thursday starting July 28. Only 61 seats will be available to the public in the Senate gallery through online registration. A two-thirds vote of the Senate will be required to render a verdict, although the required number of votes could become a legal issue due to the current composition of the chamber. ICC wanted Senator Bato de la Rosa is hiding. Senator Jinggoy Estrada is in jail over alleged involvement in the flood control scam, while Senator Rodante Marcoleta could get arrested over a plunder charge. Catch the special coverage on the Duterte impeachment trial of One News and other Kapatid channels. We will bring you the proceedings live as it happens, with analysis from legal luminaries and other personalities. Catch that whole day coverage starting Monday, July 6. In other news, Makati is seeking the intervention of the Environment Department to resolve problems caused by an invasive squirrel species. Mobile journalist Francis Rivera with this report.
The Makati City government is now working with the Department of Environment and Natural Resources to address the growing squirrel problem. The fin-licensed squirrel is considered an invasive pest due to its negative impact on the natural environment. There have also been reported cases of the squirrels chewing on power cables and transformers, which could lead to short circuits.
Nagiging problema siya dahil siya ay invasive species at kung hindi ito makontrol, no, maaring makaapekto sa ating native na mga wildlife species, lalong-lalo dito sa mga urban areas.
The DENR has received multiple reports from the Makati City government about the rising number of squirrel encounters in several barangays.
Meron na kaming coordination with the Makati City LGU para magkaroon ng orientation, para maturuan sila kung paano yung mag-trap, ano yung mga protocol natin sa pagta-trap, paano i-handle kung merong na-trap. Ito turn over dito sa PNB Wildlife Rescue Center for proper disposition.
In addition to its impact on the community, officials says the animal may pose potential health risk and could carry diseases, prompting authorities to urge the public to avoid contact with them.
Maaring magagat ito pagka sila ay napoprovoke. No? So may mga sakit na associated sa mga hayop na pwedeng dala-dala rin ang squirrel as a mammal species. Maaring nandun yung risk pa rin ng disease transmission from wild animal to humans.
Authorities advise the public to report any squirrel encounters to the DNR or the respective barangay officials. The agency is also urging residents to remain cautious when encountering the animals.
Makakala natin sila ay cute, yung iba iniisip pwedeng alagaan as pet, no? But hindi yun, no? That is highly discouraged and actually prohibited. So sa ngayon, sabi na natin sila ay considered na peste, invasive alien species, at ang ating action dapat ay eradication or mawala sila sa ating kapaligiran.
Mga kapatid, mobile journalist Francis Rivera, we are One News.
Those are the latest news at this hour. More coming your way at 4 p.m. on Storycon. I'm Diego Castro. Kapatid, we are One News. Your side, all the time. Good afternoon.
This is AP News Minute. Russia has launched a large-scale missile and drone attack on Kyiv, Ukraine. Authorities say residential buildings and civilian infrastructure were damaged. More than a dozen people were killed and many more were injured. Progress is reported from U.S.-Iran talks in Qatar. U.S. and Iranian negotiators met separately with Qatari and Pakistani mediators. The talks are focused on ending the war and resolving issues involving the Strait of Hormuz. 16 children from one family were rescued from a dilapidated home in rural Ohio. Authorities say they were living in filthy conditions. Their parents and 2 grandparents are charged with felony child endangerment. President Donald Trump's latest disclosure report says he took in about $1.2 billion in crypto holdings last year. The report also says he gained tens of millions of dollars from new properties in foreign countries.